Well, guess what we have to worry about this week? Underdressed Amazon women in a fantasy superhero movie, because we have to worry about everything these days. Hey everybody, I'm Steve Green with Bill Whittle and Scott Ott. This is Right Angle, brought to you by the paying members of BillWhittle.com. And listen, gents, the new Justice League movie is coming out here, and we've seen the first photos of Wonder Woman's Amazon pals from the island of, what is it, Themyscira, I think? Anyway, in the movie Wonder Woman, they wore more clothes, and in Justice League they wear less clothes, and this is problematical. Not that we're seeing any naughty bits or anything like that, but we are seeing these actually kind of amazing sculpted abs. I feel like less of a man just looking at these women. They're amazing. But the complaints are, listen to this, the all-male team of directors, that's Zack Snyder and Joss Whedon, who was brought on board to do some other stuff, and executive directors wanted women to fight in bikinis. Someone else tweeted, some steps backwards, methinks. And finally, I mean, yes, they have great abs, but it makes no sense to fight like that, as opposed to, say, fighting in a long, flowing red cape. Just to give you guys an idea of what we're looking at here, I want to run some photos from Zack Snyder's superhero movies. Okay, here we go. Well, okay, no, that's shirtless Superman. And, okay, shirtless Batman. And shirtless Aquaman. Oh, okay. Well, you get the idea. Zack Snyder kind of has an aesthetic, doesn't he, Bill? Why were we not hearing complaints about the sexual objectification of men? Were they asking for it because they're men, Bill?
No, we didn't hear about it because we're not neurotic psychopaths. That's probably the main reason.
Or killjoys.
And somebody once, I thought it was kind of an interesting observation. Sometimes I surprise myself with one of those. And somebody was saying pretty much the same thing about Zack's movie 300, which I had just loved. I loved it. Mm. And in 300, needless to say, every one of these guys looks like, they're all like Mr. Universe contestants and so on. And they're wearing, basically leather bikinis, and that's all they're wearing. And people were saying they didn't look like that. They didn't train like that. And I realized, of course not. But what Snyder is doing by showing these guys as muscular as they were in 300 was he was giving you visual external cues for the kind of discipline and structure and commitment that they'd made internally as warriors. The perfection of their bodies was a reflection of the fact that this is all they did. That was their entire life, was being Spartan warriors. And to that extent, I think it worked beautifully well on a conscious or subconscious level. These guys were supermen, and that's the point Snyder was trying to make. 300, right? Yep. 300 Spartans, and by the way, a number of thespians as well. No, seriously. And against, thousands, hundreds of thousands of Persians. But I don't understand what the problem here is with the feminists, other than the fact that they're, neurotic and a bit batty. Do you want strong women, yes or no? I mean, the whole premise of Wonder Woman is that women can basically fight hand to hand with men that are 3 times their weight, and with weapons powered by muscle, right? It's not like these girls are great shots. You're talking about swords and shields and spears and axes and all the rest of this stuff. This requires a lot of muscular power and a lot of stamina. And I get the feeling as well that if these Amazon warriors had been more clothed, we would have heard about that as well. It would have been covering them up. It would have been trying to masculinize them and make it all about the armor, and then men wear armor. The point I'm trying to make is these people can find themselves a way to be upset about anything, and they often do.
Yeah, well said, Bill. Listen, Scott, I know you are a big fan of family entertainment, but that you also don't have a whole lot of room in your life for these killjoy social justice warriors. So where do you fall on this? Is it okay for Amazon women to be showing off their sculpted abs, or should they keep it a little more modest?
If we do another show like this, I'm going to fall on my sword. That's where I fall on that. is, the hypocrisy of people who have spent decades trying to blur the line between PG-13 and R, and then between R and X, and literally consciously trying to get as close to that rating as they can. And now they're upset. And I think that in reality, what they're upset about is two things. Number one, physically fit people in general are essentially by implication body shaming the rest of us. And so the fact that that you show people who have great abdominal muscles is just designed to make girls feel bad about themselves. Secondly, I think that they have a problem with the fact that these people are armed. They have weapons. And of course, in a civil society, one does not require weapons to keep the peace, at least not weapons in the hands of ordinary individuals, only weapons in the hands of government. So those are two cardinal rules that were violated in this. Now, frankly, I'm one of those who's wondered why over the years it seems like, every Little League team now needs to have the skimpiest possible outfits for their athletes, as if we're going to shave another 100th of a second off of somebody's, 15-minute cross-country time or whatever it is. So, and the kids are all emulating the adults. And so high school cheerleaders have outfits now that more resemble the NFL cheerleader outfits. So I'm not a big fan of that kind of thing, but I don't see the beef here in this situation, because you would think that they would be excited about the fact that here's a movie showing strong women who are not reliant upon men for anything, who can run their own affairs and go out and kick some male tail anytime they wish.
All right.
It's a shame. If you wanted to get rid of the body shaming aspect, you could have cast Jean Stapleton as the warrior queen. That'll solve your problem for you.
Stapleton.
Where did you pull out Jean Stapleton?
I tried to think of the person who struck me as the least warrior physique.
That was the most recent TV show Bill has watched.
Lena Dunham, Amazon warrior.
Stifle it.
No.
Stifle, you dingbat.
Folks, the thing you got to remember is Hollywood makes some movies that they think people want to see. Now, maybe Justice League's going to be a runaway hit. Maybe it's going to flop. I don't know. I've seen the trailer. I've got some mixed feelings about it. I hadn't seen the Amazon Women until just today. And I have to tell you, that's going to be, for me, at least in some small way, a draw. And believe it or not, also for my wife. We have a category of movies that my wife, she labeled them this, that we like to watch every now and then, called B&B. That stands for Boots and Boobs. And it's just, fun, silly movies about hot women who kick booty, and they're just fun to watch, like the Resident Evil movies, stupid, brainless entertainment. And I think that's what we're going to get out of this new Justice League movie. That said, if you don't agree with me and you don't agree with my wife, keep one thing in mind. It's just a movie. And that is the right angle on that. Brought to you by the members of BillWhittle.com. I'm Steve Green. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.